What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome to another Dump and Skate podcast. I'm the head, broken and decrepit bender, ball buster, Jeremy, still looking for a feederism, but in the meantime, I'll just eat a loaf of bread abdo. With me, as always, the man that makes this podcast possible, head producer, the guy with the face for podcasting, and Jeremy. I hit a new PR. I had two people give me the bird in less than 6 hours apart in Holland. I shortened it up this time. I shortened it up this time. Still looking for a feederism.
I don't even think that's the right term. Like you're looking for a feeder. Feederism is like
is
the ism. Yeah, you're looking at the person to be the feeder. Anyways, semantics. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome back again to another exciting episode of your favorite podcast, the Dump and Skate Podcast. Excited for you guys to be here today. Excited to talk. We're going to talk a little Stanley Cup Finals. Game one happened last night. We're going to talk a little bit about that, how we think the series is going to go. I got some special shout outs to give that involve that. We're going to talk a little bit of diet stuff again, a little bit of workout stuff, give you guys some good stories of how Abdu is not the only broken and decrepit person on this podcast today. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Love seeing you guys that are regular followers, regular listeners, chiming in, commenting, even if they're smart comments. Jason Grininger, we see you with your mouth all over social media. It's okay. We love you. We appreciate the comments. We love that you guys are listening. Love that you guys are following. So keep it up. Appreciate the support. We're still shooting hard to get up to that 50 follower subscriber mark on all the platforms. And so please keep sharing it with your friends. Share the posts, share the reels, all those different things. Abdu does a great job with those. So yeah, if you haven't liked and subscribed,
20 more people on Facebook and we hit 200.
There you go. So
on Facebook.
There you go. So keep it up, guys. We really appreciate it. Appreciate the love and support. So also, before we get into any of the content today, want to give a quick reminder. Support the guys that support us, the guys that we know have done a good job in the past for us, and that is B&R Sports. That's brsport.com. Any of your hockey needs, if you need equipment, if you need skates, if you need gloves, you need a mask, you need a helmet, anything you need, tape, give those guys a chance to serve you. They do a fantastic job. Two of our good buddies, one, Mr. Corey Ward, needed some shinnies. Said he popped the order in on Tuesday and got them the same week. I think they arrived Friday or Saturday. So stupid fast shipping from these guys, just as fast. I mean, the only service I know any faster than that is Amazon with their ridiculous overnight delivery stuff. So, and then our other good buddy, Mr. Pete Rossi, who we are going to have on an upcoming podcast to talk all things kids hockey, had to order some new elbow pads, and same thing, said it was ridiculously fast, 3-4 days tops, just as fast as all these other big name brands that we're not going to even waste our breath mentioning on this podcast, but you know who they are. You see their websites all the time. The heck with those guys. Go see our boys at B&R Sports. Let them hook you up. Yeah, we know they'll appreciate it. So would we. So again, that's brsport.com. I think I'm saying that right?
Yep.
Beautiful. So, yeah, that's that. Well, let's get into it. How's the week been, man?
Oh, another busy Sunday for me, my dude. Really
Lots of sleeping. Lots of sleeping on this Sunday again, I see.
Seriously, I actually got up and was functionable around 12:45. So that's my
I knew
PR.
Something was wrong.
That's my PR.
I was gonna say, I knew something was wrong when it was like lunchtime. I was like, boy, I hadn't gotten a text yet, because my Sunday mornings are always super busy because we're up and out of the house and at church from about 9 o'clock ish until around lunchtime, and so typically I'll get some kind of text from you, usually first thing in the morning or like mid-morning. We're at church, just checking in if we're going to shoot something or not. And
Not today.
I got nothing again today. Last Sunday, I got like a 10:30 message that said something about, "Oh, I just woke up," and I laughed. And then obviously we talked about that. But today there was nothing. It was just radio silence. And I thought to myself, it's kind of weird. I'm wondering if you're sleeping the day away again. And then I think you finally messaged me around lunchtime time, and you were like, "Man, these Sundays of like sleeping all day are pretty nice." And I was like, "I knew it. I knew he was still in the bed."
So if, I'm just letting you know, on the drive up to Nashville, I'm sleeping. On the ride home, I'm definitely sleeping. I'm not
Yeah.
going to survive Nashville. I'm definitely
Yeah,
sleeping on the
you're
way
probably
home.
gonna have a hard time. I was talking. We're, we got a bunch of different things going on with Sarah and the kids, and I've been planning how we're gonna do some things. And actually got a meeting Monday evening at like 6:30 that I may go ahead and let somebody else run for me. Just depending on how Nashville goes, whether we want to get up and get out of there on Monday morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning and just get back home, or whether we're all dragging out of the bed at like 11 o'clock and not getting on the road until lunchtime.
I'll tell you what, if it goes into a game 7, which happens to be that Monday, we're
going to be scurrying out of there so you can get home and watch the game.
We're leaving at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think my plan is I want to try to get out of there at maybe not 6, but probably 8 a.m. would get us back home probably around 3, 4 o'clock if we drive pretty steady through. And that'd be good. That way we wouldn't, totally blow the entire day. But if we don't leave till lunchtime, we ain't getting home till like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
That'd be awful.
Yeah,
that'd be awful.
You'll
start walking. Just load up on the bus Sunday night. Just riding the bus back, boys. Oh man, take a long nap on all the smelly equipment. Gee, Manettis.
And this is a hotel that we can't even like air out our stuff, so I don't know how we're gonna pull that off.
I mean, you can air it out. Just the room might smell a little bad, especially in you boys' room where you're gonna have multiple guys in one room. That's gonna be a stinky room.
Well, that's where I'm gonna throw all my stuff in. I'm gonna throw all my stuff in Ponton's room because he likes to wash it like after every game immediately. I'm surprised his stuff doesn't.
No wonder we lost. He washed all the good out of his equipment.
I'm surprised his stuff doesn't just break down so fast. That's why his pants have a rip in it. It's not because he caught a nail. It's because he just washes it.
Because he washes them constantly.
Stuff. But
between shifts, he's running back to the locker room and soaking them in a tub and scrubbing them.
He is. He's. You know what? With his 10-inch subwoofers, he's just playing the bass so loud. He's just trying to dry him off with the bass.
God, we're gonna get a text from Andy when this airs. I hate you guys. You guys are the idiots that don't wash your stuff.
Oh yeah, we're the bad guys, right?
I had one of the guys that plays in A-League. We were talking. We played a tournament together. So I forget what we were doing, but maybe in a pickup. We were talking about washing equipment, and he pulls out a jock, and he has jock shorts. And I'm telling you, it's like one of the most disgusting jock shorts I've ever seen. He's like, I'm pretty sure there's pee stains in here still from middle school.
Oh. Said, so he's got like the Sidney Crosby jock. Have you seen Sidney Crosby's jock? He still uses the same one that he used since Pee Wee's.
He either had a really big cup when he was in Pee Wee's, or my man's unit is like.
It's the jock, not the cup part itself, but
micro
it's being held. Yeah, it's being held together by staples and sewn together and everything. So
staples on your job?
No, I'm not saying staples. I'm just
awful. That's gotta be terrible.
I'm not saying he has
fire
staples
that equipment, man.
Fire
that equipment manager in a hurry. Sid, I got you. I'll get the stapler. What? No, absolutely not. Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's like
no, Sid. They're industrial staples.
If I knew I was going to win 3 Stanley Cups, I'd staple it right to my leg. I don't care.
They're industrial staples, Sid. Don't worry about it. Oh my gosh! And the dogs have joined the podcast already.
That's great. It's always well. Before we start to talk,
they're probably watching. They're probably watching a TV show with dogs on it or something.
My dog does that. I just told you my dog does that. Everyone's like, oh, that's so cute. Yeah, it's really cute. It's really cute until you realize how every medical commercial, every drug
has a dog in it.
Has a dog in it. You don't realize that until but before we talk about Stanley Cup Finals, can I give a shout out to my dude?
Absolutely.
You guys may have seen the post. I just want to give a good shout out to a really good friend, Steve Kazari. Made it to his 5th Stanley Cup Finals as a referee. He did game 1 last night. Talked to him today. He's feeling good. But congratulations, Steve Kazari, on your 5th career Stanley Cup Final. That's a huge thing for referees because there are some referees that go their whole career without even making it to a Stanley Cup final. So good for you, my dude.
Yeah, you and I talked about it because we got a little bit of we kind of knew he was going to be on the ice there for that game, and O'Rourke was out there with him, and you and I talked a little about how I thought they were a really great pair. They'd done kind of well as they'd gotten paired up. I think in a couple times in these earlier rounds of the playoffs, and I thought that was a really good match. I thought they called some really good games. We chatted a little bit about his. You and I have already talked a little about game one, and we chatted a little bit about his calls and things like that, and just thought, he did a stellar job. So big shout out to Steve. A lot of love, a lot of support from us. Super proud of you making it this far. Don't take no crap off of those professional babies. We got your back over here.
I've always said
your back over here, buddy.
He's literally a babysitter for millionaires,
Millionaire babysitter. That's right.
People think it's like, oh, you're just.
Oh, you saw it last night. If you watched the game, if you watched the game last night, you had multimillionaire McDavid and multimillionaire Kachuk tangling it up there, and Steve's right in the middle of it, breaking them up.
Steve was
100%. Yeah. 100% $1 million babysitter. I love it. I'm here for all of it. I think it was great.
Who's you? I mean, I know that game one just happened, so.
Yeah. So you and I had talked. We meant to. Well, all right. So pre-game one, look, I'll just be honest. Florida looks like a team that's kind of just on a tear this year. Kind of looked like Vegas looked like last year. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't want Vegas to win, but it looked pretty obvious after the first couple of rounds. Vegas was going to just walk through some people, and then they really just went through. Jeez, what are we doing here? Sorry, they really just went through Florida last year like a wet paper bag. I mean, it was brutal, and so Florida looks to be the team that's going to kind of do it. And I mean, it's really a lot to do with Bobrovsky. I mean, Bobrovsky's a freak. I mean, it's like having a cheat code back there. Now,
wall.
We've watched, I mean, and it's not even, we can talk more about it in a second. So I would love to see Edmonton win.
Me too.
I think McDavid, again, obviously everybody in the world thinks the same thing. So it's not like I'm saying anything earth-shattering, groundbreaking. McDavid is a phenomenal player, arguably one of the best doing it, if not the best doing it right now. Just incredible dude, powerful skater, ridiculous hands, great vision. Just really, really fun to watch. And so I really want to see McDavid get one. I think they've done an incredible job through the playoffs thus far. I really thought they were done when they got to the Canucks. I thought the Canucks worked them over physically, and I thought Edmonton was not going to come out of that series, but to Edmonton's credit, they adjusted. They went back. They played an incredibly physical last couple of games, stuffed the Canucks in a box. I thought they were going to struggle with Dallas. I really thought it was going to be a Dallas-New York series. Dallas looked like a team that was super.
What do we know?
I know. We're a couple of idiots. I wanted to see Florida and Edmonton, but it kind of looked like New York was on a tear. It looked like Dallas was on a tear. And, tremendous amount of credit to Florida, tremendous amount of credit to Edmonton for the way they played in those series. I mean, Edmonton was on the verge of going down 3-1 in their own barn and stole that fourth game and then won the next two. I mean, just incredible series from Edmonton. And so when they did that, I thought they kind of had a little bit of a chance. Maybe they were going to be able to come in and make something happen here. Again, I thought it was going to go 6 or 7 games, or I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games.
Gosh, I hope not.
Now, after watching game one, man, I thought Edmonton played way better in the first and second period. Panthers coach Maurice even said, they interviewed him, of course, and he said, yeah, sure, we look a little tight out there. And he said, you just got to loosen up. And I thought Florida played a phenomenal third period. But to me, the third period was a draw. Florida got an empty net goal. That's not a win for Florida, in my opinion. I mean, it's the late goal, whatever. But I thought Florida and Edmonton played basically a dead even third period. I don't know what the shots were in the third period alone, but I know the shots overall in the game had a heavy lean towards Edmonton, and a lot of that came in those first two periods. I mean, at one point it was like 24 or 25 shots to 9. But the real killer was, it was like right out of the gate, they get a goal. It was an odd man rush, and I didn't go back and watch it a ton, but it looked like potentially some lazy back checking on Edmonton. It was the first mistake they made. I mean, it literally was the first real mistake they made. They were taking the whole game to Florida that whole first period.
One of their biggest mistakes is having Darnell Nurse out there. That's a huge mistake.
Well, yeah. And if you listen to any other
-16.
podcast, if you listen to, he's probably -17 right now. He was on the ice for 2. I think he was -15 coming into that game. He was on the ice for both of the regular strength goals, not an empty netter. And
that's so
he's just, I don't know what you do. I mean, they brought that Boberg kid up, which was an AHL kid. It sounds like he spent the majority of his time on their AHL team. He came up late. He's played really well. He's actually looked pretty good. Again, I know these kids are all pros, so one isn't the other, but it doesn't always work out for guys bumping from the A into the NHL. And so, but this Boberg guy has looked really impressive. I mean, you got to have some pretty big huevos to start handling the puck in your end, sidestepping guys and carrying up the ice as, one of 2 defenders back. And he's done that a couple of times with a lot of confidence, and he's made some moves to move up the ice. So I think Boberg's played pretty well. That's been a smart pull for them. It sounds like, and again, I just don't follow the NHL quite as well as a lot of these other guys do, but it sounds like they've moved Nurse all over that lineup in the back, on the back end. And I think he's playing with Cece is who they got him playing with right now. But man, he is, God dang, if he's on the ice, Florida's going to know that's their best chance to score goals. So Edmonton struggles. I don't think Edmonton's super deep, but I think they're just not developed super deep yet. I think they got players. You and I talked earlier, this McLeod kid looks really, really good for them. I think he's a 3rd or 4th line guy. They've got guys.
Has experience from last year, and they're on a mission. They've been on a mission since.
They do that. Since last year. I mean, they got swept, right? They got swept last year. They lost in 4.
Yeah. Well, they interviewed Kachuk this year, and he's like, after being in the finals last year, these 82 games that we're playing, it's just like, let's get on with it. Let's get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, he was already in finals mode at game 1 of the season,
100%.
So
100%.
he was
and it was well documented how busted up he was by the time he got into the finals. It all kind of came out after the finals, but he was hurt pretty bad, and he was kind of the engine that was driving everything for them last year. And so you could see it. I mean, you could see it the way he was playing. He was fighting through a lot of pain. Bobrovsky just couldn't do it all by himself. And again, that's not a discredit to everything else Florida had around him, but they were a severely beaten and hurt team by the time they made it to the finals. And again, what won Vegas everything was Vegas was problematic for every team they played on their 3rd and 4th lines. It wasn't just their top 2 lines. And so Florida, I don't think they're not as menacing when you get to their 3rd and 4th lines. Their top 2 lines are really good. I mean, they really are. Florida plays a system. They just wear you out. And so
it's like Rocky 3, just wear them out and then just go in for the jugular when you see that moment,
Like I said,
Edmonton was just firing on all cannons yesterday. They came out guns a-blazing, and it was a 3-0 game.
Yeah.
Their Florida system, like you said, is they got a system, and it's working.
Yeah, I mean, they're again, nobody's bigger than the team. Everybody does their job. They back check, they forecheck. They really didn't push their forecheck a bunch. I mean, again, this, you watched the game, you saw it. They didn't forecheck super hard. They looked lazy. They looked lazy is the wrong word. They looked tight in the first couple of periods, like they just didn't want to step and make a mistake. And so it got them caught with I think 3 breakaways. They got caught because they just weren't committing fully into what they were supposed to be doing. They weren't fully engaged. And so 3rd period, they finally came alive, and they really started giving Edmonton a lot of fits with their forecheck, trapping them in their zone. Now, to Edmonton's credit, after fighting through some of that, Edmonton started figuring out holes in that, started, taking advantage of that and moving the way out of there. Now, Edmonton adjusted. The announcers really kill me because they're like, oh, well, if Edmonton's in a lot of trouble, they put their super line out there. They're really big boys out there. They just team up Draisaitl and McDavid, all right? Like, we all get it. And so it's no different than any other team that says, okay, we're getting late in the game. We need to get a couple of our, top guns out there.
Right.
Bouchard has a cannon, so they put him on the ice. I think they have Ekholm back there across from Bouchard. And then I think they put Hyman I think it's Hyman. They put Hyman, McDavid, and Draisaitl, right? And basically for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes of the game, they just ran that five, and then they basically built a second line with like Nugent Hopkins and some of those guys, and that was it. I mean, they just ran 10 skaters in and out the door for the last 5 minutes or so. And I mean, Edmonton probably had a dozen, maybe 12, maybe a little more, maybe somewhere around there. I'm trying to think through. I mean, some of these were power players. They probably had a solid 12, like these should be goals type opportunities. And Bobrovsky, the freak, happens, and there's no goal. I mean, right out of the gate, right? He coughs up a puck where he fires it up the ice. McDavid stops, knocks it down with a stick. Hyman comes in and smashes him in the face with a shot within the first 2 or 3 minutes. And it's just like, it was hard enough, and it caught Bob off guard so much that he like fell backwards on his back, right? If that puck lands anywhere in play where guys can get to it, that's a goal. And so it's just incredible. I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from what Bobrovsky's doing, because he's a certified freak. I mean, the dude is just an animal. I mean, he really is. There's just no. He's incredible. I mean, he's making saves. He's getting some bounces when he's out of position or when he's whatever that he's able to get back. And so he's getting some. Again, last night he got caught out of his net. Draisaitl got the puck, fires it through the middle, and nobody's there. I mean, it's an empty net because Bobrovsky makes a mistake behind the net, and Draisaitl takes advantage of it. Draisaitl couldn't get in front of the net. Now, granted, there were 3 Florida Panthers right there, all within reach of the blue paint. So even if somebody was right there, it wasn't just a gimme. But the goalie's not even in the net; he's behind the net, right? And the puck just doesn't bounce Edmonton's way. And so, on top of making ridiculously great saves, I think he stopped 3 different breakaways plus the one that he gave up where Hyman was standing.
They were going right to his hand each time. They were going to his glove, like
So
switch it up.
I went back.
Switch it up.
So what they did was at least 2 of them, they put, I think all 3 of them, they actually fired it into his leg pad. Both guys ended up trying to go backhand. So the first one, here's this thing. You remember we talked about, and Andy was like, I hate that Holland has a memory. So I'm telling you, I watched the first one and I watched it back, and I thought about what we had talked about with Kyler, where these goalies that are ridiculously good, that it's not just like hey, I need to be in a ready position for wherever he shoots. Like, these goalies can tell from where you're coming out on the ice and who you are and what you're doing. They have a pretty good idea where you're trying to go. And I'm telling you, go back and watch that first breakaway if you can find a video of it. I'm pretty sure Bob read all the way that guy was coming back to his backhand. I forget who it was, because it looked like to me in real time that he was headed back towards his backhand, and Bobrovsky never really bit that he was going to go towards his forehand. I mean, he was committed enough that if he kept going that way, he was going to be in position to make a move to make the save. But I'm telling you, his leg was out moving to the backhand side before the move was even really made over there. And it was, they didn't get any elevation on the puck. Here's beer league hockey Jeremy giving commentary on pros on how they didn't. But again, you're playing a ridiculously good goalie. If you're going to make that move to get back to your backhand, you got to pick it up over his leg pad. He's too good. You're not going to just beat him down low. I mean, the announcers made that claim, this statement that he's not getting beat down low. He's getting beat upstairs. And so if he's getting beat at all. And so both of the first 2 breakaway chances were left-handed guys that went to their backhand that Bobrovsky easily stopped with his legs. And so I don't know how you get critical of professionals when they're making a move, like that, moving 100 miles an hour, but it's the Stanley Cup Finals. You got to get the puck over his leg.
Yeah.
Period. Well, I mean, I don't even think that's challenging Bobrovsky. I'll just be honest with you. I just don't think that was a challenge for him.
We're both in agreement that we think that Florida's going to win, right? I mean,
I think it's done in 5 or 6 at this point. 6 is probably a gracious.
I know I said I didn't want it to a game 6-7. Normally I do want to go to the extent, but we'll be in Nashville for game 6. And
I wouldn't mind sitting down and watching it one night. That'd be fun. That'd be fun watching it with all the guys.
Or it would be fun just watching it in a hotel room with stinky hockey gear, as I fall asleep.
We go down.
As we fall asleep Central Time.
We'll carry you back to your room.
No,
we'll carry you
what?
back to your room. It's okay.
All of those Nashville guys listening to this right now, we're not going to let Jacksonville happen. I think that's where we messed up. So I want to just say, I'll be the head coach. I'm giving you guys hotel
The curfew.
curfews. Yeah, I'm gonna go knocking on the door. I'm gonna tell the concierge, just like the Red Wings. If you see them,
that
oh man, they're just gonna look at me and call
have
me
the
a clown.
hotel staff tattling on us. You realize that if Rob hears this, he's probably duct taping you to your bed. No, he's going to get a rolly chair and duct tape you. He's going to duct tape you to the rolly chair. Duct tape to you to the rolly chair and just drag you around all night with us.
Cooch, do that. And you have your way with me, Cooch. I don't care. Thanks for the jerseys, Cooch. You can tie me up with the jerseys and then the socks. So,
and stuff the socks in your mouth.
Just for that reason, I don't want it. I would like it to end in a game 6 or in a game 5. If it goes to 6, then I want it to go to 7 so I can just watch it. I'll tell you what, if it goes to game 7 and we're driving back from Nashville after that weekend, I'm not going to survive to stay awake.
You will fall asleep before the game even starts. Yeah, you'll probably fall asleep. You probably won't. We'll make it back to my house to get in your car, and you'll probably fall asleep you'll come in and sit down on the sofa and be like, I can't even get up. Just fall asleep on the sofa. You'll end up spending the night here.
Driveway, I'm heading back. I can't not. There's no way in hell I could sleep in your house with the dogs, the kids, and
my dogs are great bedmates.
And well, then it's just the dogs and the kids and Sarah yelling in the background, and then
easy.
I mean that in a comical way, but then it's still the dogs and the kids.
It's okay. She doesn't listen to the podcast. I'll tell her later, though.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I have to say it's the dogs and the kids.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, it doesn't look like again. Edmonton looked really good last night. The big difference is the goalies, and that's not a knock against Skinner. So there's a guy I listen to that uses the term. It's really not. There's a guy that I listen to that uses a term called jag, and he says just another guy. And he's like, look, there's jags all over the place in collegiate sports. There's jags all over the place in the pros. Like there's freaks in the pros, right? And then there's jags. You're just another guy in the pros. You're good enough that you made it to the pros, but you're just another guy. Skinner's a jag. He's just another guy or just another goalie. Mm-hmm. Bobrovsky's a freak. I mean, Bobrovsky is a certified last year in the playoffs when he came in and saved them and got them through the Boston series. I mean, he was stupid good the rest of the time, and he's looked the exact same this way. They keep throwing up these stats where in his last like 10 or 11 games he's allowed 2 or less goals. I mean, that's a dude that's just on one, and I'm sorry, Edmonton's going to have to win a game 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1.
It can't be on home ice. I mean, it can't be on home ice on there. They have to win one.
I mean, they've got to steal at least one in Florida. I think Edmonton's capable of doing it. I think they were capable of doing it last night. They just, again, the first goal, I'll blame that on Skinner. Okay, it's a 3-on-2, but you've got to help your defense out at some point. You got to be the reason that you guys are going to win a game, and not like, hey, as long as you guys are all back and it's even, I can do my job. No, at some point, Skinner, you have to go and be a little bit of a freak as well. He's done it some, and he got benched, then came back in. I think he posted a shutout at one point. So he's had some really good games. His last 2 games in the Dallas series, I thought he played really, really well. So, but then their second goal, you got Evander Kane just hanging out while a Florida Panther rolls right down the slot. Evander Kane just stands there. That's just a mental breakdown. That's just an error that happens. I get it, but it's 2 errors. 2 errors immediately result in 2 goals. It's really the biggest errors Edmonton made all game. And they had, again, a dozen really, really, really good scoring opportunities, and they get 0 goals. You're going to have to play an errorless game. You're just going to have to play a game where you don't cough the puck up like that and give those opportunities. The whole rest of the game, for the most part, they keep Florida shots to the outside. They're doing their job, keep giving Skinner easy looks at everything. So, again, I don't want to dump it all on Skinner because it's not all his fault. But
no, they're just
at some point you kind of got to match the guy at the other end of the ice.
Edmonton is just not equipped. I believe that McDavid will get his Stanley Cup, whether it's with Edmonton or not. He will get one at some point. I'm a firm believer.
I don't know what he's paid. Do you know what he's paid?
No.
Do you know his salary info?
I don't know. I don't know salary. I just know my salary.
I don't know that stuff either.
So,
is it close to McDavid's?
No.
It says 12.5 million.
Okay. Well, that's
Google
nice.
search real quick said 12.5 million.
All right.
Salary is 10 million. His cap hits 12.5. So he's paid pretty well. I wonder if he would be one of the guys that would take less money to get money more evenly distributed across a roster.
Bring him to
give him a little bit
Colorado.
of help. Bring him
That
to
would be
Colorado.
Yeah, that would be a great team.
Bring him to Detroit. Detroit could use him. Detroit's got a bunch of young, scrappy guys.
I
They were on the bubble this year.
I don't even know if Detroit's going to keep Patrick Kane.
I think Patrick Kane wants to roll out of there is what it sounds like to me, more than Detroit not wanting to keep him.
Right.
That'd be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
Getting Kane and McDavid. That'd be a lot of fun
on the
to
Rangers. Put McDavid on the Rangers.
That's cheating. I don't. That he'd have to take a huge salary. He'd have to take a huge hit to his finances to make that work, because they've got a stupid good goalie too. That's part of the reason I thought they were going to do so well. Yeah. Shesterkin's a freak as well. He played phenomenal. But like I said, that was a Florida series where Florida just kind of wore the Rangers down, which was crazy because that was the Rangers game was wearing people down too. So it's kind of nuts. So yeah, I think Edmond can get some games, but I think it's going to be Florida. If it goes beyond 5, I'd be a little shocked. Now, I may eat my words if Edmonton plays tomorrow and stuns Florida in their own barn. That'd be pretty impressive.
Well, that travel has got to take a lot of toll on the players too.
Yeah, and they're playing on that. Your nephew remarked about how Florida's ice sucks, so that could be playing a little bit into some of it here with those. But again, I didn't see a lot of like missed passes and stuff.
No,
like I said, it's just more like a couple of errors led to a couple immediate goals, and that stinks. Right. That's a bummer.
Well, that's our playoff take, our Stanley Cup Finals take. You want to?
Yeah, that's our predictions. Yeah, we'll keep jumping in and doing some pods after, maybe not after every game, but we'll jump in and give some commentary as we as the series rolls on. So that'd be good stuff. So yeah, nice. Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit. So I made a comment in my intro about Jeremy Abdu is no longer the only broken and decrepit Jeremy on the podcast. I turned 40 last month, which I don't think is really that old. But apparently my body seems to think otherwise. So yeah, I've been dieting. We did a whole diet, I think, episode. You guys have heard us talk about it.
Yeah.
Abdu obviously is
First
walking
of
me
all,
through
the diet
diets.
podcast. The diet podcast is nowhere near to the rest of our podcasts listening and viewing. So those people that are listening to this one and haven't listened to the diet one, let's catch up here. All right.
Go back and get a little listen.
Right.
So yeah. So Abdu's been working with me on diet stuff since back January, February.
Down 20. Almost down
almost close.
20.
Yeah, down close to 20s. Right.
We could have been down. We could have been down to 30 by now.
Yeah. If we could have cut the Dunkin' out a little early. I know.
And there's a picture. Pictures don't lie. There's a picture of Holland licking his fingers, but
that was cupcakes. That was definitely not
a big tray of cupcakes. Right you're licking your fingers.
How about I got a message from Pete. The other photo you sent me where you circled my knee. Pete sent that to a little group chat. This is a couple of us, and he said something about if this doesn't scream like super dad energy or something. Hang on, I got to find it really quick. I almost fell over laughing. It was pretty hysterical. He said if you were asked to define dad pose, this picture would 100% pop up. He said it looks like right before this picture was taken, Holland said it's not the heat that gets you, it's the humidity.
Well, looks like I know what I'm going to use for a social media post. This conversation right here in that picture.
There you go. Go steal the photo. So yeah, that was my kid's birthday. That was yesterday. That was funny. So, but yeah, no, I was handing out cupcakes. I wasn't eating them. Those stupid trays, you can't get them out. So my knuckles were all in the kids' frostings. I was getting the frosting off my knuckles. So anyways, so you guys that know us and have listened to us a little bit, you know, Abdu has a background in personal training and some nutritional stuff. And so reached out to him, had been working with him since the first of the year. I'm just trying to drop some unnecessary weight, try to retrain myself on how to eat properly. I've never really worked with somebody that knew nutrition, so it was a good thing to work out for. Again, if you're interested in something like that, just as a plug for Abdu. And if you're interested about that, it's well worth the money you spend. It's good knowledge that you probably don't have just from reading books and stuff like that. He's had a lot of experience doing it, so it's a huge help. And I've told him I appreciate it a bunch. But I'll definitely got no problem plugging that.
I
So
appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that.
If it's something that you guys that listen to us are like, hey, I'd like to drop weight, and there's more of us that are doing it than just me. And I don't want to necessarily call guys out by name on here, but there's more than one guy in this community here locally that play hockey that have watched me lose weight. I've pointed to Abdu. They've reached out to Abdu. He's worked plans for them too. So he knows what he's doing. It works really well. Again, you got to follow his plan. It doesn't work if you start eating Dunkin' like I've been doing. It starts to slow down the process a little bit. But we hit Jacksonville. I wanted to kick it into high gear. I said, let's start working out a little bit. And so we've been doing some Zoom calls where he's been working me through some dry land training and stuff. And here's where the whole broken and decrepit thing kicks in. So Tuesday of this past week, yeah, it's brutal. Tuesday, I'd gone through, 2-3 workouts with him, was sore and things, was mostly sprinting and lateral movements and stop starts and things like that. Explosive movements, getting the heart rate up, a lot of circuit style training. And so, but was feeling good about it. Had rested for a few days, jumped back into it Tuesday, had stretched what I thought was pretty good. What I found out later was probably not. And, did some squat. Yeah, no, it was my fault. I stretched without talking to you.
Yes, let's clarify.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think this is Abdu's fault.
Yeah, no. I stretched on my own before I got on the call with him to work through the training session. And so I did not stretch well enough of my own doing. I just kind of loosened up, and that was my own fault. Just thinking I'm 25 and not 40. And so worked through probably a 10 minutes worth of workout, went to go run the first sprint. Got 35 feet into a 70-foot sprint and felt a pretty sharp pop all the way down my right quad. Immediately pulled up. It was really evident on the video that he was watching of me, and he started talking. I was wearing my Bluetooth. You were in my ear, and you were like, "Hey, so I guess just walk the rest of it. What are you doing?" Oh, all right. Well, you're not done. Putting any weight in your leg. So, yeah, you noticed pretty quickly I was hurting. You asked a few questions of like, "Are you hurt?" And you said, you noticed really quick, like you're not even putting any weight on that leg. So
yeah, I said
it was bad. It hurt. Yeah, it hurt pretty bad. So thought it was just a bad pull. Got together with
asking,
you.
From that point up until
Yeah.
we were monitoring your leg.
Yeah, and I didn't nurse it quite as well as I should have. I was super frustrated with the injury. To me, it was a big setback because I felt really good that we were going in the right direction, and I'm type of person that when I start doing something, I'm pretty driven and wanting to stick with it. So I was frustrated. I got nervous about what that meant for Nashville. Because again, it was a pop feeling I don't think I've ever felt. And we saw you Saturday and noticed there was some bruising around my right knee.
That's the first thing. He lifts up his shorts, and all week long it goes, is there bruising? Nope. Is there bruising? Nope. Is there bruising? Saw him Saturday. Can I go ahead and say what we did Saturday?
Go ahead.
We did it. Our very first. I do some classes on Saturdays and group training, and I got a chance to do some in-person training with Holland. He lifts up his shorts, and I go, "What's that on your knee?" I go, "Where did that bruise come from?" "Oh, what?"
I don't know.
I don't know. I had just noticed that. And I go, "Dude,
no."
All week long.
Again,
all week long, I've been asking, is there bruising? Is there bruising?
And there was none. Again, the bruise did not show up. I noticed a slight shadow on Friday at one point during the day, but I was in a dark room and kind of got to looking around in the light and didn't really see anything. It was literally Saturday morning when you saw it was the first time I noticed it. And sure enough,
I had to point it out. I had to point it out to you.
Yeah, it was a half moon looking bruise right across the top of my right kneecap. And so you were pretty quickly like, it's probably a tear, but it's probably a really minor tear.
Really minor. And even my sister goes, if it's not a solid tear, if there's no bruising within the first 24 hours, all week long, I was, well, look, I didn't know Holland was, this really, like, honestly, he was pretty bummed out. He was making some progress with his workouts. And then when this happened, he was like really discouraged. Like I didn't hear it in his voice till maybe Wednesday, but I said, he's like, yeah, it's really sore. It's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, is there bruising? No. Is there bruising? No. And I go, yeah, you probably just have what they call a pansy pull. And then he's like, oh, dude, come on. And then that I was like, all right, I really pulled. I didn't know that it was like I went too far. I can tell that I went a little too far.
Well, I didn't tell you because you asked me
Uh-huh.
Wednesday morning. So it happened Tuesday evening. You asked me Wednesday morning how I was feeling, what it was all, and things like that. And I said, look, man, I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to say the quiet thoughts out loud because
Yes.
instantly, like I said, instantly, as soon as I felt it, I thought, all right, that hurt real bad. And I'm hurt. Like it hurts to put weight on my leg. It hurts to bend my knee backwards. Like all of this hurts. I've not felt this kind of discomfort. Right. So first off, I'm thinking I'm really hurt and I don't know the timeline for getting better. The second thought was I can't train and this hurts bad enough that I don't think it's going to recover quick enough. There's going to be downtime here that I'm not happy about. So I'm losing progress in training. And then the third thought was, have I jeopardized Nashville, which was in 2.5, 3 weeks at that point, right? We're down to, I think, 2 weeks now. And so all of that stuff races through my mind instantly out there while I'm, still outside in the immediate aftermath of it happening. But I didn't mention any of that to you just because I just kind of swallowed it and sat on it. So it wasn't until Wednesday when you were asking how it was doing and you asked the question, you were like, well, how do you were asking like, hey, you probably can't train the rest of this week. If it's hurting that bad, you probably need to lay off of it. And then you finally kind of tiptoed over and you were like, so Nashville. And I said, again, I do not want to say the quiet thoughts out loud. I just don't want to talk about it. So I didn't tell you that all that ran through my brain probably until sometime Thursday.
I kind of gathered.
And
I
so,
kind of gathered it just by
yeah.
your mannerisms because we do talk a minimum of 20 to 30 times a day. So I just your mannerism and your tone of voice has really changed. But yeah, when I said, "Oh yeah, you got what they call a pansy pull," you're like, "Oh jeez." And then I said, "Okay, fine. It's called a sissy sprain." So
Sissy sprain.
long story short, although it's a little too late now because Holland's been talking, he has a neighbor, right? That's a ER doctor, and he
I got a
just
neighbor
said,
that's an ER daughter that
Holland goes, he sends me a text. Yeah, it's a pull. I got a pull. Yeah, it's
said
it's a
it's a
torn.
tear.
It's a torn. It's a tear. And then I go, okay, okay, you're fine. And he goes, yeah, my neighbor wasn't that concerned. My neighbor wasn't that concerned
Yeah.
about it either. And I go, okay, well,
No.
if an ER doctor isn't concerned about it, and it just started bruising on a Saturday morning, 5 days, you're fine. And then what does he do? Hey, I gotta call you. I gotta call you and FaceTime you. Check out this. Check out this. So I'm like, you're good. You're good, buddy. So,
Jerk.
oh yeah. But anyways,
Oh man!
you're
So the
Andy
whole point of this
Ponton,
was,
yeah, if you're Andy Ponton, you're probably going to be fast forwarding through all this, and you're thinking, just get to the workout part, Abdu. I'm trying, Andy. I'm really trying, but this guy right here is talking too much. So,
oh my gosh! So it felt better Friday. I finally got around to compressing it and icing it and everything, like you had told me to do from the jump. Like I said, it just was not a good. I should have jumped on the recovery path a little faster, but I was frustrated. So, anyways, got it healed up, got it feeling better. Was able to do some squats and things like that.
He was
by
so
the end
frustrated.
Of the week.
He was
Yeah,
so frustrated.
stupid.
Hey, Jeremy, why don't you put some ice on it Tuesday night? Wednesday morning, did you put ice on it? No, not yet.
No.
All right. Wednesday night, did you put ice on it? No. Thursday, did you put some ice on it? No. I'll put a heating pad on it though. All right, cool. So then Friday, I'm just gonna put some ice on it. Oh, it feels way better. Feels way better. Okay, we should have done this 96 hours ago. And then he like if you guys are trying to get some icy hot, because you're sore or whatever, and you can't find any. You can't find you. Do not go to Pooler or surrounding Savannah areas because he bought complete stock in it and he owns it now. So he's like, I
went after icy hot like Rob goes after gear.
Just blast icy hot patches. Just blast
icy hot patches.
So,
That's going to be the new hashtag.
He's got the large.
Can we get an icy hot?
Large.
Do you think we can get an icy hot sponsor?
He's got the
Oh, that'd be
large
a
and
good
extra
one.
large. I told him at this point we need to wrap him up like a mummy in icy hot
Like a
patches
mummy.
because he's like,
I'm gonna
my
look like
chest is sore and my triceps are sore from the workout, which we'll get to. I swear, it's 45 minutes into the podcast. I swear we'll get into the kind of workouts you need to do.
We've only been talking workout for 5 minutes. Relax. This guy. You act like I spent the first 44 minutes telling about a single tear. Oh my gosh. Oh
Blast
man.
patches.
So
Just blast.
blast icy hot, baby. Blast icy hot patches. Oh, are you depressed? Blast icy hot.
You got girlfriend problems? Blast.
Blast icy hot, baby.
You're doing 2 milligrams of icy hot on the lotion. You do the whole bottle. Do a whole vat. Just stick your whole body in
milligrams. Running through a dry spell. Blast icy hot, baby.
Speaking of icy hot, you guys, you're probably not going to understand any of this. Maybe I'll put up a.
Didn't you do a post? The gear.
I didn't do a gear post. I sent it in the group. I'll do the gear post of why this is so funny.
Do the gear post.
But one thing I told Holland, I said, Holland, if you're going to use icy hot, just make sure you wash your hands. Don't take your contacts out. So yesterday, what does he do? Is he's putting on a stupid wrap, a compression wrap that I also suggested. Oh, by the way, these clips taste like icy hot. That's all over my mouth. I kind of warned you about that. This guy. Holland will listen to you at some point. He will listen to you. It's on his own time. You want some ice on it? Put some ice on it. He'll listen to you on his own time, and then he will tell you, "Oh, wow, that works." Just like this icy hot
your
moment.
Your advice is really good.
It only took me 7 days to do it. Don't change your contact if you touch the icy hot. Oh man, these clips taste like icy hot. After I told you that another 4 days ago.
The clips were like icy hot because I'd put the patch on my leg and then put the compression wrap around the patch. And so I pulled the compression wrap off, and I think the little tong, like the little spikies of the elastic clips, had poked through the compression wrap, but also had poked all the way through the icy hot patch and gotten onto the side that had like the icy hot on it, because the back of the patch doesn't have it on it. And I just didn't. They didn't bathe in icy hot. That's not what happened. So when I pulled them off, I was standing on my stairs. I couldn't put them on the ground right there. So I just stuck them in my mouth real quick, and instantly I was like, "Oh gosh, they taste minty." And I was like, "That was dumb." And so yeah, so no, it wasn't like I bathed them in icy hot and then stuck them in my mouth. Make people think I'm some sort of a moron who puts icy hot directly in my mouth.
So we did a poll. Do you want to hear a workout? Do you want to hear a workout podcast?
And we don't really care if you guys answer the poll or not. We're going to talk about a workout at this point, anyways.
One of the
10 minutes into it.
One of the polls was, yeah, I don't care whether you talk about it or not, as long as Abdu's happy. That was Corey Ward's answer. So here you go, Corey.
We're happy.
No, I'm sorry. As long as Abdu's funny.
Happy.
As long as Abdu's funny, I'm sorry.
Thank goodness.
So
thank goodness.
You got your funny stuff. But yeah, blast gear. That's what I'm saying. That's if you want to get better.
Blast icy hot.
So
blast icy hot.
You did. You came to my class last minute. I got last minute.
That's right. I got.
Sorry, Ponton.
Yeah,
we were gonna have you show up, Ponton.
Well, I was hurt, and so it was up in the air whether or not I was gonna be able to do anything or not.
Yes.
And so, like you said, it was really a late Friday. Really, it was more of an early Saturday decision.
Early Saturday. Can you make it or not? Can you make it or not?
Yeah. And so
you just show up.
Got up.
Just show up and show me that bruise. Show me that bruise that you don't know about.
So I got up, got to class, and we ran through the circuit with you and the handful of folks that were there with us.
And Mandy. And Mandy was there too.
Your sister was there too. Yeah. That was super emasculating, having to sit next to somebody who was lifting much heavier weights than me. Definitely was awesome. So to be clear, I picked none of my weights. You picked all of my weights and set me up there. And we were not doing anything that was for
strength.
It wasn't so much like, hey, how much can you lift on this, Holland? It was more like, hey, I'm going to give you this weight, and I'm asking you, what you were doing with me was to basically do reps quickly for failure, essentially. I mean, you weren't saying go to failure, but it was just go as rapid as you can, drive your heart rate up, maximum exertion on those muscles for this 30-second window, set it down, move to the next exercise, maximum exertion on this, whatever it is. And you were watching me, obviously watching the whole class, and you figured out real quick there were certain things that you were like, all right, I way undersized this weight. Because instead of coming over and saying, hey, I gave you the wrong weight, here's a different dumbbell, you were like, don't ever pick these light dumbbells up anymore. I can't believe you were being such a sissy.
I said, if you ever insult me like this again.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even pick the weights. You laid them down here. Mind you, out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching your sister carry weight around that's at least 5 pounds heavier than me. I'm like, all right, this is great. Then to top it all off, because I am a scrawny little shrimp, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to need to drop back down a weight for my left arm because I'm going to go to lift and press, and it's going to drop and hit me in the side of the head. I'm going to be on the floor, and then we're going to be talking about a different type of injury. So I did actually have to ask for different weights. And you were kind enough to bring me the pink aerobic weight. So thanks a lot for that. Sure.
It was a pink 2-pound weight, and Mandy got a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm glad everybody had a good laugh about that. Jerks.
So.
Bunch of jerks. Don't basically go to Abdu's circuit training because he'll just make fun of you the whole time. Oh, God.
Again, I don't make fun of people that don't.
He didn't make fun of anyone else in the class. He only made fun of me.
Baloney. I did. So there are different.
Wait, those ladies listen to this podcast, so they'll call you out about this.
That's fine. There are different kinds of workouts. There's a strength training workout. There's target training workout, which is more of a bodybuilding workout. Like there's leg day, chest day, back day. That's a target training because you're targeting one area of the body. And that's what a lot of bodybuilders do. If you're trying to do it for speed and agility and look, I don't want to say like you need to do this for men's league hockey or men's league sport at all. I'm just saying if you want to improve your hockey or any kind of speed, your speed goals, you're going to want to do what compound movements in a fast, explosive movement, basically. Completely different than just doing 10 sets of a bench press. You know, that's because you're targeting one body part. What we do in class and what you and I have been doing while we're training and what I've done with a lot of athletes, almost all athletes that are D1 athletes, NHL athletes, AHL athletes, we go explosive movement we want to emulate exactly what the sport that you're training for is basically what I'm trying to say. You had your heart rate up to what, 167, was it 170?
I think it slapped one. I think it got close to 170. I think it was living between like 155 and 167, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So what we did is, I'll just say we did 5 exercises 2 times through of just explosive movement. One part of it was a squat press.
I thought it was 10.
Well, it was 10 exercises. I was building up to that. It was 5 exercises.
Sorry.
It was 10 exercises, but 2 of them were in a 1-minute span. And then you go 15 seconds and then another minute, 15 seconds, another minute. Basically just like a hockey shift. You're going balls to the wall, rest for 15 seconds. So it's like you're out there on the ice, you stop. Or you're out there on the football field, you're running for that 45 second, because I think the average football play is 45 seconds. And then you run to the huddle. You want to get your heart rate down and you spike it back up. We did squat press, upright rows, one-arm squat presses, dips, bench press, kettlebell swings, snatches, steppers, planks, all of that.
Hip thrusters, bench.
Yeah.
Dips. We did. I converted to skull crushers because I got sick of losing so much time getting up off the bench and then flipping around and all that stuff. That was driving me nuts. So I just converted to do the skull crushers once you gave me that option. Thanks.
So basically, you're welcome. Basically, it was 1 minute, 2 exercises and 1 minute rest. 2 minute exercise. 1 minute. 2 exercises, 1 minute rest. 2 exercises, 1 minute rest. 2 times through. And then just rest. And then when you rest, you actually do a complete rest, get your heart rate back down.
What did we
to
have? Like a
almost
5-minute
resting level.
window? Was it a full 5-minute window?
It was 5. That's actually longer than what I would like for that kind of training. Usually, I'd like to do 2 to 3 minutes, but um, there was not one person in that class that didn't walk out dry after you guys were just soaking wet,
Yeah.
a high calorie burn,
Yeah.
and you even said, "Wow, I feel great after that
Yeah.
workout." And I said,
Well, a lot of that had to do with a lot of the concerns I had with when am I going to be able to work out
Yes.
again. And so I was happy that I was able to make it through the workout without any like sharp pains or anything like that. Just some muscle fatigue and failure and things like that from just working out and doing stuff that I haven't done in eons. Again, nothing that was like foreign to me that I'd never done, but just movements with weights that I haven't done in 15 years at least. So
yeah. So it all depends on your goal too, because a lot of people, when they reach out to me, like, "Hey, I just want to get back in shape. I need a trainer." I started running. Running is great, and that's actually how you started once hockey season was over with, right? You started doing your 3-minute or 3-mile runs.
yeah, I just wanted cardio to keep. I wanted cardio because I had lost any cardiovascular workouts that I was doing while I was playing hockey. All it had sucked out of the window. So I said, I'm just going to go start doing runs.
And then you did the Jacksonville tournament, and you're like,
played in Jacksonville, and I felt like I needed some more explosiveness in my legs. My conditioning was fine. I wasn't winded because remember you asking me that there were several of us talking about heart rates and things like that, and you were asking me what's your heart rate getting to, and when we knew my watch didn't really keep a good track of it, and so my heart rate was probably where we wanted it in that 160, 170 range, but I wasn't gassed. I was fine, and so but I could tell that I wasn't as explosive as I wanted to be. There were certain moments that I wanted more out of what my body, and it's not that it wasn't, it's that my muscles have lost that basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want to try to gain that back.
And I'm all for going for a run. However, if you're trying to build up your cardio for hockey, a 3-mile run is not going to help. It's just going to help your endurance. It's not going to help your shift time. You want to go, and my sister even said this too, you're going to want to, sprint, run. You got to do that fast, explosive movement. There's a saying, train slow, be slow, train fast, be fast. If you're training for a marathon, you're just going for time. You're not going for speed, unless you're one of those crazy maniac Kenyans that can do it in like 2 hours, that should be illegal, to run 26 miles that fast. It's crazy. But, if you're just running for distance, you're not really going for time, opposed to what we were doing the other day. That was all timed. And even Andy said that him and Grant did a workout, and he was like, "Oh, did you see my heart rate? Did you see my calorie burn?" And Andy, I didn't, because I was in bed. And I don't like to, but he was so proud of himself because his workouts, his workouts have changed from what he was normally used to. He said he did cleans, he did Bulgarian jump squats, and his heart rate was up, and his calorie burn was high. Although I'm not so worried about a calorie burn at all, unless you're training for a competition. But he's just like, it was completely different than what he was used to, opposed to doing the box jumps in the bathroom. So, he's really proud of himself that he changed up his workout, and then you can just tell that he was like, "Oh wow, I can tell that this is exactly what I need." That's what he said. That's exactly what I need. So
and Grant's an explosive guy on ice, and I don't know Grant's workout patterns, but if Andy was working out with Grant and Grant was kind of guiding some of that, because it sounds like that may have been what was going on,
right?
Because it doesn't sound like Andy was doing those things anyway, so that I would assume it came from Grant.
Well, he was doing those box jumps in the bathroom at on the toilet seat at Planet Fitness.
Right, I saw the video.
Setting off the alarm.
I remember the video.
Yeah, if you
got the video, because it just sounded like he was taking a dump.
Look, our social media team goes to very long extents to help the social media posts. So if you know what I'm talking about, go back to that post and hit a like, please. It's the box
There you
jump
go.
one.
Yeah.
But
So Grant must, again, I assume that's the way Grant trains. So Grant's got some understanding of that as well. So he was able to point some of that out to Andy. So yeah.
right.
But yeah, I thought class was well. Again, I probably focused a little more on weight that I was moving and specific weaknesses. And we even talked about that some of what I want to do. I mean, the large portion of what I want to do is I want to be more explosive. I want everything I'm doing working out wise to translate over to the specific thing I'm doing, which is playing hockey. Again, I'm not trying to morph into some sort of a, phenomenal player or anything ridiculous like that. I just want to be able to skate at the level I want to skate at in our A league and not feel like I can't move my legs at the same pace I want to, or be able to. I don't want to get out there and try to skate hard and just be absolutely washed out and have no energy after 2 shifts. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to skate so that I can be competitive and continue to play at the level I want to play at, which is again an A league, beer league. But there's other stuff that you and I talked about too after this initial workout about, hey, there is some size I wouldn't mind putting on, and we talked about that too, and how that's very different looking than what we're doing, which was circuit training and working through these rapid fire exercises of movements as quick as I could get them to go, movements to get my heart rate up, emulating all of these shifts where I'm exerting myself as much as I physically can, and then resting for a short window, and then turning right around and exerting as much effort as I can all over again in that 60-second window, followed by, again, those repeated short rests. That training gets me ready for exactly what I'm asking for in hockey. But if I want to gain size anywhere, and there is some, and we talked about this, is that I've always been a small guy through my arms. I would like to get a little bit stronger in my arms because I know that will translate into a little bit stronger shot. And you said, hey, that's different training, but that's definitely doable. And so that's going to require, pushing heavy objects, which is totally different than what we're doing when we're doing circuit training. Circuit training is a lot of explosive effort movements, and then bulking, gaining size is going to be exactly what you were talking about earlier, which is targeted specific exercises for specific muscle groups.
Right. And if you look at the body shape of a hockey player versus a football player, I mean, their workouts are completely different because the sports are completely different, but football players also train fast. Like if you watch college athletes, they train fast, and the amount of times that they can max or they can press 225 is very impressive. So I think Blake Corum did it like 35 times in like less than 2 minutes. And
sweet.
That's crazy. That's insane. And they're
does he want
football players
like a lollipop or something?
Well, I mean, he's a
do we need to give that guy an award or something?
I'm just
I mean, I could name other running backs that are national champions. We could do that'd be a lot of fun.
Can they do the 235 and
I don't know. I'm not weird. I don't study the NFL combine on the bench press, to be honest with you.
Well, this was
weird
before the NFL
it's a weird stat. It's a weird stat to pull. I'm just saying.
All right, guys, look, all of a sudden Jeremy Holland is working out and he can just bust everyone's balls because, he knows it all.
Oh gosh!
But,
I didn't say know it all.
Oh, you do. You are sure to let me know that what I'm eating is not good.
I did not.
Really? You've never
what
said
you're eating isn't good, Mr. 6 loaves of French bread, because it looked like steaming poo.
Well, for instance, like, you know what? Forget what I'm trying to say about football players versus hockey players. Their workouts are completely different. Holland is just a freak of nature too. He's losing weight and he's training and he's got a torn muscle, but his torn muscle starts bruising 6 days later, and then he starts icing it 7 days after I ask him to. But this will be our workout podcast.
Hey man, but let me tell you about all these bench presses that Blake Corum can do, because he's explosive. It's incredible. It's super impressive. I love it so much.
Bench press.
Maybe we can get Blake Corum on the podcast. No arguments there. Easily.
My doctor.
It would be more impressive. It would be more impressive how few bench presses I could do at that weight, probably. Holland, lift the bar. I'm trying.
You know how I did the
What
box.
did you say?
You know how I did the box jumps for the social media posts.
Yeah.
You know,
Was that you?
Well, someone was. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to ask you a question, and I think the fans want to know.
Want to know? All right, go ahead.
We're gonna use this as a poll also.
Oh, gosh,
Do you guys think that Holland can bench press with full plates on each side, and how many do you think he can do? Do you think you could do that, you yourself?
With a single 45 on either side?
Yeah. And
Maybe.
do the view and do you guys want to see Holland do
That's
this?
only
It's
like
135.
135 pounds, right?
You say it's only.
I hope I can.
But
I hope
listen,
I can do that.
you said it's
I hope
only
I can
one.
do that.
You said it's only 135, but you said you're sore.
I didn't say only. I said it's 135, right?
You said that's.
Did I say only? I may have said only.
So,
I hope I can.
You're sore from the bench presses that we did yesterday.
Okay.
So,
to be fair,
again, it was fast, and you weren't going for max.
80,
you weren't going
85.
for
I was going to say I did 85 reps.
That's what I'm saying. You did it for time. You did it for time and speed. So
it's way different.
I think
that was only pushing like 40 or 50 pounds. I think, right?
It's like 10. It was a 5. It was a 5 and 2.5 on each side.
No, it wasn't. It was a 10 and a 5.
It was a 5.
It was 30 pounds away.
It was a 5 and a 2.5.
It was a 10 and a 5 on each side.
All right. It was a 10 and a 5 on each side. But all right. So, as a poll, do we want to see Holland and what he can max on a 135 bench?
Oh my!
And how many do you think you could do?
Let's just shoot low and say 1 or 2.
Oh gosh! And then here you are just doing 8 and 9. Look, I'm an overachiever. I'm an overachiever.
I don't know.
At me go.
It's been 15 years since I've actually bench pressed something.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has.
I'm not doing it. I'm not saying this to bust balls, but you're busting Blake Corum's balls.
I'm not busting Blake Corum's balls. I'm busting your balls for being like, let me bring up a Michigan football player and how much he can bench press.
I couldn't think of what J.J. Watt presses. I know that he can do a 1,000-pound tire flip. I know that he does a 1,000-pound tire flip. That's impressive.
I did that with the guy that had to flip the inflatable after my kid's birthday party. I had to help him. I had to flip that 1,000-pound inflatable into his trailers for him. So I'm pretty sure I flipped the majority of it too, because that guy was old.
Tire flips are fun. I like doing those. I think Mandy actually has a tire flip too, like a tire.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah. I love where this is headed.
Well,
Holland, let's max you out on the bench and go flip a tire.
For the record, my doctor told me I can't. My doctor told me I can't lift heavy things, so that's why I sit down when I pee. I just had to throw that in. That was great. That's why I sit down when I pee.
Not even touching that. Not even touching that.
No.
The good news is it's an hour and 7 minutes in. Nobody's listening to this part, so nobody's going to hear that.
The good news is at least I sit down when I pee and it's not in the shower like somebody else.
Oh man. So
all right,
ridiculous.
if you guys made it this far into the podcast, say icky, give me the sticky. I'll give you one of our stickers. But so far no one said anything about that in the other podcast.
Good grief.
So
I
don't think anyone's
I'm really let down. Zach and Tichy have really let me down to this point by not commenting on that. It's ridiculous. So upset. So anyways. Oh man. Yeah. So there's your workout talk, ladies and gentlemen. That's great. Stay tuned, guys. We'll give you some more stuff on the playoffs as they keep rolling. We got some special guests lined up. We're going to get your buddy Zach on. We're going to talk some more Chicago hockey, talk a little bit of equipment, because apparently Zach has a bit of an addiction, and we're going to try to go through a little some self-help through the podcast. Going to get Pete on to talk kids hockey. We still need to get Papa Cooch on, have him talk all things zeros and hockey and everything else.
Why are you talking? No one's listening to this part. No one listens to this part.
Guys, we really appreciate you listening.
Holland just likes to hear himself talk. He just likes to hear himself talk. That's why this thing's
All
gone
right.
to
We really like
1 hour, 9 minutes.
Blake Corum does 510 push-up or
I'll build. You know
bench
what? That was
presses
part of a
at
workout.
752 pounds.
That
He's
was
the
part
greatest.
of. I didn't say he's the greatest. I just said that his training is impeccable and he can go for speed. You know what? Screw you, Holland. I hate you. You just take care of your quad. Why don't you ice your quad? Ice your quad after this podcast.
I'm going to.
Go ahead and tell me how you. Go ahead and tell me how you didn't.
And then I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat some icy hot later.
Eat some icy.
I'm gonna blast icy hot this evening too. Hi, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen with all those random shapes, sizes, flavors. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Bye.